Hey, our push results are still ahead, but to close out our CSP Summit with our wrap-up message, it is an honor to have the opportunity to intro DVM from the Midwest region, Mr. Brett Wiggins. Guys, to me, Brett checks off so many of the boxes that you want in a DVM. Obviously, he's got the experience. Started in summer of 2007 in the South Bend office. Branch manager, summer 2008. Finished number 4 branch manager in the Midwest region. Became a pilot sales manager in 2009. Number 1 office in the region, set the North Indy summer record at 834K. Moved on to the district manager opportunity 2010 to 2013. Was one of the top 20 new DMs in the nation. Number 1 district in Hoosier, all of Indiana. Top 10 in the Midwest region. Number 1 district team in the region in the first $1 million year. Hoosier division manager 2014 to 2019 and is currently the Michiana division manager. So you've got the experience. Check. The results? Check. Guys, career sales 24.8 million, Hall of Fame in summer of 2020. Top 10 division in total business, top 8 new business league as of May of 2021. And I love this one. Michiana holds the December new business record in 2020, $465,000. So we've got the experience, we've got the results. Now let me tell you about the man himself. Lives in Fishers, Indiana with his wife Riley, daughters Willow and Rose, and a dog Bentley. Baby Hazel, scheduled to arrive in June of this summer. That is awesome. Congratulations and our best to you and Riley. And what I really love is the leadership roles that he takes at his Northview Church in Carmel, Indiana. Assistant 5th and 6th grade pastor, helps run the 5th and 6th grade program that goes ahead and it supports 200 plus elementary students each weekend. Student ministry leadership team. You have the experience, you have the results, the lifestyle, but what's particularly impressive is the way that he leads with a purpose. Asked him about his philosophy, and he said his purpose is to help his team become the best version of themselves so they can find out what life is calling on them to do. So they're going to have the skills, the training, and the confidence to be able to do whether that's Cutco or anywhere else. I got to share a quick experience with Brett. By far one of the earliest adopters of Cutco orders. He has been instrumental as a voice for our rep community without many reps even realizing it. Features and enhancements. I'm going to tell you, there was a couple convos that him and I shared that after passing it forward, it completely changed the batting order of some of the features we were working on and who had access to them because he chose to personally get involved and share his perspective on how it would be the betterment for every level of rep in the rep community. Every step of the way then, through that process or any other encounter I have, I need to be honest with you, I think I walk away better. Brett, I got to be honest, I'm just so glad that you don't keep score, but I'm going to come clean now in front of everybody because the amount of things that I've lifted from you, if you ever were to charge me, I could never repay you. How you phrase questions in conversations just to get engagement or to come to a compromise or to just to get desired results. In particular, your words and the way that you use them, you make sure that everybody walks away feeling heard and important, and that just is a gift in our business. And I know from talking to many of your Michiana event team and countless others, including this guy in Olean, we have all benefited from that. It's just one of the many ways that I see how you have and you continue to shape so many leaders in this business just to share ideas and concepts. And I just think there's no better person to go ahead and close out our day with leadership training topics for our CSP community than to have you deliver this message. So, ladies and gentlemen, our wrap-up message for the 2021 CSP Virtual Summit, Mr. Brett Wiggins.
Dave, I admire you a lot. So those words mean a lot to me, and not just because you're an Irish fan, because I really love everything you've done for this community, behind the scenes, in front. So that really meant a lot to me. Thank you. I think of any individuals in our business, it is very safe to say you, as a CSP community, have faced the toughest road of any of us in the last 14 months. I have witnessed so much leadership from our CSP community. It has been really, really, really inspiring. I've seen virtual service calls pop up, virtual appointments, past customer business strategies. Many of you guys, you leaned into vast action and you doubled down on your client retention when your business had the most uncertainty of any time in your entire life. You tried out malls at different times of the year when I think some of you had already sworn off malls. You leveled up service events. You hosted them at Airbnbs when hotels were shut down. You partnered with local businesses as a venue for your customers. You stayed committed to service, the pickup, drop off experience for customers. And if we're being honest, maybe it's just my guys and girls, but how many of you stopped generating your own leads and you relied so heavily on the booth and meetings to generate them for you? And then because you were forced to, you rediscovered the power of fresh referrals. So much of this was leadership, even by those of you who might not consider yourself a leader. And when you have the platform that many of you do, or you aspire to, you are leading whether you are trying to or not. And listening to the messages right before this, what stuck out in my head was just assertive. I think so many times we're looking for that magic trick. We're looking for that special text or that special script. The leaders in our business are assertive. It was so fun to watch that message right before mine and hear that come out, because I really believe that anyone can lead. Any age, any gender, any background. I believe that if you're on this Zoom right now, you have been called to lead. And I believe that someone somewhere is or will be counting on you to lead. And I believe that even if you don't aspire to lead, a rising tide raises all the ships in the harbor. And when you lead by example, you increase your own results because you're increasing the expectations of everyone around you. So I really encourage each of you to do the things a leader would do before you have a reason to. Give your coordinator, your division manager, your region manager, the federal team, give them a reason to give you the opportunity when it presents itself versus someone else. There's coordinator roles, shifts at key events, neighboring divisions who might need help at a big event, expanding CGC field, speaking at conferences like this, getting interviewed by National, getting interviewed by Dan Cassetta for the Changing Lives, Selling Lives podcast episode. Just saw Dawood's come out. Can't wait to listen to it. Getting selected by a great coach who will turn you away if you're not the right type of person. CPO will only get you so far in these cases. Kaiser Schwartz was chosen before many ahead of him in CPO because he was the right person that the federal program was looking for. Alicia Anderer, through her leadership as a coordinator for her division, caused Earl Kelly in the Northeast region to create a regional role that did not exist for her. And then that led to a national role. I heard while Lone Star was transitioning to a new coordinator, Dante Reynolds was chosen for the role when he was actually the lowest in career sales of the 5 options because he showcased the best leadership skills over the 1.5 year interview process. I've heard about Burt Wicks, who now runs the number 3 events team in the company, had 0 coordinator experience, but got the role because of how he showed up and who he was. I could give you more examples, but I think you're probably getting it. In Michiana, we've got some unspoken rules for anyone that is in a leadership role. That's CSP, events coordinator, pilot, district branch assistant. And to be honest, we don't do a good job of training our people to be prepared to go out and lead, but we do lead them the right way on their way there. I want every single person in a leadership role to be able to look back on a conversation or a situation they watch someone deal with and not have to be trained on how to handle it. I want them to be able to look back on what they witnessed, and I want them to be able to pull from that experience. Because when you're a great leader, you create more prepared leaders. I am nowhere near your selling and service skill set, and I never will be. My biggest week as a rep was $2,700. Probably not the best stat to give you when I'm hoping you want to listen to me for the next 15, 20 to 20 minutes. But these are the things that I've learned as a rep, that I learned as a branch, as a district, and now as a DVM. And my hope is that you can use some of it in your business and in your daily life. Most of these thoughts that I'm going to share with you have come from 3 different areas. My region manager, Jeff Bry, his willingness to let me try new things and run the business differently than I was taught. Trent Booth's pursuit of helping me become the person I was made to be through coaching and through one-on-one combos. And the countless times I did not lead well, and I lost great people because of it and got hurt. And I learned how not to do things. So now, hopefully, I can share some of the things I learned with you, and they can benefit you. Let's dive in. So, number 1, admit when you're wrong. It absolutely sucks until you do it. My best summer as a DM was 2013. So, we had just had our best week ever, $79,000 in sales. And I remember my staff, we were going to have our office staff meeting for the week. And I said, you know what? Screw the office staff meeting. Let's go out to eat. We went out to eat. We celebrated. It's so good. And then the next week we sold 45 grand. And then the week after that, we sold 40. Like in summer, you're supposed to go up, right? It was like May week 5. No, we're going the opposite direction. And it got to that point where, I don't know if you've experienced this. You can walk into a meeting or an environment or an office, and you feel the stress. You feel the ickiness of it. And then there's other times where you walk in, you're like, oh, this is the place to be. It was not the place to be. And instead of staying late, I started leaving early. Instead of showing up early because I was excited to be there, I started showing up on time. All my staff were at each other's throats, just snippy with each other. And I remember right before our office staff meeting, after our 3rd downgrade week in a row, I started the office staff meeting and I said, I'm sorry. Everyone's crying. No, it's my fault. No, it's my fault. It would have been permissible of me to point out everyone else's faults, but it would not have been beneficial. Admit when you're wrong, like when there's something that goes wrong, take ownership. When there's something that goes well, deflect it to everybody else. Next, bad behavior has consequences. In the moment, it's no fun when you have to punish people. Long term, it's pretty awesome. There will be plenty of opportunities as a leader for you to look the other way when someone is doing something you know they shouldn't. It takes 30 seconds of courage to confront someone and say something. After that, it's easy. It's easy. There's a guy in my organization that's responsible for millions of dollars in sales now. And we had a payoff at the end of a summer. We call it the boat. It's a lot of fun. It's great. And after the payoff, he decided to act a fool in front of new reps. I mean, great. So the next day after the big payoff, we had a big dinner plan. We're going to celebrate his awesome summer. And I walked into his office and I said, here's a list of everybody that was there. You get to have a phone jam and dinner's canceled. And he called every single person on that list to apologize. And in that moment, it sucked. But if I didn't do that, that becomes the standard and what's okay. And that's not what I wanted. Once had a bunch of assistant managers go to SC2. They're fired up, they're excited, and they are underage and they take alcohol. And they're drinking at the conference and they invite new reps to drink with them. And I find out about it. I called each one of them and took away the rest of their summer payoffs. We still had COC or SC3 for some of you. We still had the boat champions night they all qualified for, all taken away. The only one who stayed is now here as a top district manager in my division. Bad behavior needs to have consequences. What you appreciate appreciates. I think sometimes we get addicted to recognizing results, which I want results. Our mission statement this year for 2021 is to shift from being the fun place to be to the fun place to get results. I'm all about results, but you need to recognize the actions. When we recognize results, it doesn't tell people the story of how to get to where they want to go. When we recognize the actions, they can go, I can do that. People enjoy recognition more than their paycheck sometimes. Again, don't teach through scolding others in public. Teach by recognizing what you want duplicated. Strive to get it right, not to be right. I found this picture. I thought it was so good. You got to swallow your pride. If you're constantly the smartest person in the room, that's a lot of pressure on you to always have the answers. I can tell you the last hour I've been on this Zoom, I have felt very dumb, and I love that. When I heard John, Andy, and Rob talking, I'm like, okay, I am an idiot when it comes to this. I am learning something, and that feels good. Everyone has strengths. You got to let them use them. If you don't have an inner circle, or your inner circle doesn't make you feel behind sometimes, or like a newbie or a novice at something, you might be addicted to being right all the time. Strive to get it right, not to be right. Listen, this was really hard for me to learn. You got to show up with zero expectations. We don't know what someone needs until we listen to them. So we can't assume that we do. We can give great advice, but if it's not what they need, it doesn't matter. I can remember helping a new rep in a PC, teaching them something awesome I was excited about, like an ultimate or selling flatware. And then we get to the end and I go, hey, so is there anything else you wanted to learn today? And they go, yeah, I have nobody to call. Can't sell ultimates when you don't have anybody to call. How often are we so excited about a certain package or a certain combination or a set, or only concerned with memorizing our approach that we bulldoze over customers with our own selfish ambition versus starting with questions to find out what they need? Reflect daily. This was a complete game changer for me. I was always go, 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 constantly sprinting. So I was the person that I would sprint at certain times of the year. I would sprint for a push, and then I would get to the end and it was done for 2 weeks. I had no energy. I was out of it. And then Trent Booth really encouraged me. How often are you taking time to just be in class by yourself? I remember hearing Matthew Kelly call it the classroom of silence. And I developed this habit, PB&J. While I do enjoy a very delicious PB&J sandwich, what's heavier, peanut butter or jelly? Both is the clear answer. This is, for me, prayer, Bible, and journal. Now, this might look different for you. It could be meditation, a self-help book, but I think journaling is the key for everyone. If you develop a morning routine, or whenever that is for you, that you reflect and you get out of the go of life, you'll realize you have most of the answers, but you have to create the space for yourself to find them. For me, it's PB&J. It's prayer, Bible, journal. Lead by example. It is so easy to push others when we're pushing ourselves, isn't it? It is so easy to just fend off any excuses of others when we're fending off excuses from ourselves. It's also really easy to be soft on everybody else when we're soft on ourselves. 99% of the time, I'm frustrated with the people around me. If I look inward, I find the same things that frustrate me about them, I'm frustrated with myself about. I just haven't realized it, or I'm in denial. When I try to change my team before I try to change myself, it just makes it worse. When I try to change myself before I try to change my team, the problem usually fixes itself. Be positive. This is something that I think we're taught early on. Like even as a brand new, this is just part of our culture, right? But the longer we're here, it's easier to lose that and it's easier to get jaded and make it a job. Being positive takes no talent. You won't be successful. Sorry. You won't be happy because you're successful. You will be successful because you're happy. I will never forget Logan Franke as a brand new DM saying that in a talk in my division and going, wow, he's right. If you have trouble with this one, being positive, just remember you chose to be right where you are. You can change it. Strive for breakthroughs. The goal isn't the goal. The goal is to achieve a breakthrough. I can tell you tons of examples of my reps being on stage at a push countdown. I've had reps finish number 1 for a countdown. Number 1, crushed everybody. And on stage, they seemed demoralized because they didn't have a breakthrough. They quit a couple days early because they hit their goal early. They weren't committed to the work. They were committed to the result. And once they got the result, there was nothing else to do. And they take that trophy and it's kind of like, I don't feel like I deserve it. I've also had reps on stage for a push countdown that missed their goal, miss out on a trophy, shooting for, let's call it 10K. And they finish at $9,900, but they have the biggest smile on their face ever. They shake our region manager's hand and they are beaming because the goal is not the goal. The goal is to achieve a breakthrough. And they did something that they didn't think was possible for themselves. If you walk outside of your house and you say, I'm going to run as far as you can, you'll probably run about a half mile and be like, I'm done. My side hurts. If you make a goal of, I'm going to run 3 miles today. I've never ran 2 before. You might only run 2.5 miles and not hit your goal, but you just achieved a breakthrough. The goal isn't the goal. The goal is to achieve a breakthrough. Be humble. If you don't understand the photo attached to the slide, you really need to broaden your music selection. Deflect all praise. It's not thinking less of yourself. It's thinking of yourself less. Look for reasons to thank your teammates, your DM, your DVM, your coordinators, your coach. No one comes to success alone. I feel like as a DVM, I spend too much time on what I'm about to bring up. And I'm not mad. I'm curious. ROR. Ask yourself, does my attitude change when working with someone else's customer? Do I look for reasons to give orders away the same way I do to look for reasons to keep them? Do I treat others' ROR the same way I would love for them to treat mine? Just questions to ask yourself. Those who exalt themselves will be humbled. Those who humble themselves will be exalted. The only ones that matter are the ones who show up. Show up to every event expecting no one to be there. When anyone shows up, you will be excited and treat them differently. I promise. I will never forget being at a career fair. I'm there. It's dead. It's slow. I'm right next to, we're Vector. So we're right next to Verizon Wireless as the booth next to us. And I was probably having a bad day. I don't know. Maybe I was in a season of life where I was just like grinding and not in a good place. And I go, man, it's slow. And this recruiter from Verizon looks at me and goes, they don't make it busy. We make it busy. And he cranked his music and was like, it became a party. And I was like, all right, he's right. The only people that matter are the ones that show up. Pursue best practices. Are you a person of possibility? What is your attitude when you don't hit your goal? When things don't work out? When someone is better than you at something, how does that voice inside your head respond? Oh, they got better customers. Oh, they're from a better area. They got better shows. COVID didn't affect their state as much as mine. What will you say to yourself watching others getting recognized during Push Next? I watched other divisions crush us in events for years. Many of you still do, by the way. And I made all the excuses in the world. We don't have the county fairs. We don't have their state fairs. We're in middle America. All the top teams are on the coasts. We just don't attract high-level CSPs in Indiana and Michigan. 2 years ago, we said, hey, every DM's attending fair and show training. Every single one of us. We're sitting in like a brand new rep. We're learning. We're diving in. And we've had some massive growth because of it. And because of us being tied in together with our coordinators like Benji and Wiggy and being a team, and the excuses were replaced with best practices. Do you pursue best practices or do you pursue the best excuse? This mindset or lack of this mindset will affect way more than your CPO. Always do the right thing. I love The Simpsons. So good. You would rather sell less the right way than sell $1 more the wrong way. And doing the right thing is contagious. And unfortunately, so is doing the wrong thing. 9 times out of 10, when I have someone ask me, Brett, I've got this tough situation. I don't know what to do. The answer ends up being, what's the right thing to do? We know what the right thing to do is. The issue isn't that we don't know the right thing to do. It's that we talk ourselves into thinking we don't have to do the right thing. The right thing is typically not the selfish thing. And I know in this world that we live in that that's not the way everybody thinks, but let the other person win. When you mess up an order, go above and beyond fixing it. When you owe a customer something that you haven't followed through in a timely fashion, make it special and more than you promised. Even better, when you promise someone something for free outside of their order, and then you forget and they never bring it up, they completely forget about it. Do you still follow through? If you get the chance to surprise someone with your generosity, do it. You'll feel better. I promise. And don't do it because of this, but in my life, it comes back to me every time. People pay attention. People that matter and decide your future pay attention. Support their life, not just their business. Help people achieve their dreams, not a certain level of CPO. I think this community does an amazing job of that, by the way. If you want what is best for them, whether it's at Cutco or somewhere else, you won't go wrong. Each of you have what it takes to lead. Don't wait on a promotion to lead. There are opportunities to lead all around you. You just have to look for them. Leadership is understanding it is your responsibility not to just make this 2 days of great info. There has been no value in these 2 days yet. You have a responsibility to yourself and to everyone around you to do 3 things. Number 1, identify your big moves. It's really tempting to go big here, but I'm telling you, what are the 1 to 3 things that will have the biggest impact on your business? Everything else is noise until you master those 3 things. Number 2, put them into action. Put your action steps in your calendar right away. Put your action, because if you don't, life starts again and it's not happening. And number 3, invite others to hold you accountable. Text 1 to 3 people what your big moves are, what your first action step is. Maybe it's your DM, maybe it's your DVM, maybe it's a coordinator, maybe it's a coach, maybe it's a peer. Identify the 1 to 3 big moves, put them in your calendar, text those things to someone to hold you accountable. These are the things that will make the last 2 days valuable. My really good friend, John Fiacco, told me what you do matters, but also what you don't do matters. We cannot continue to create this amazing company without you. Thank you for everything that you do. Let's make 2021 a year we never forget. Thanks for letting me be a part of your meeting.